How's it going, guys? Stas here. So yesterday we got some news from Credit Suisse that they're actually delisting and suspending further issuances of their Velocity Shares ETNs. And some of these ETNs, well, all of the ETNs that are being delisted and suspended are listed right here. You have UGLD, USLV, DGLD, DSLV, Ugaz, Dgaz, as well as ZIV, VIIX, and my personal favorite, and you guys, if you've been following the channel for at least a year or two, you guys know this, is TVIX. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about the nitty-gritty of what's going on here when they're actually getting delisted in terms of these ETNs. And I also want to go over what I would personally do if I was holding one of these ETNs. And you guys know, especially if you've been following the channel, I always tell you guys that these ETNs, they're leveraged, they're derivatives, right? They move very quickly, they're very volatile, and they decay over time. So for that reason, they're not meant to be held for more than a day. They're simply meant to be used as day trading tools. And if you go and look at the prospectus of each and one of these ETNs, they'll tell you just that, right? They're not meant to be held long term. And by no means is this financial advice. I'm only giving you guys my opinion, and as always, you have to do your own research on all of this stuff before making a decision. But again, I want to go over what I would personally do if I was holding one of these ETNs right now. So let's just get into what's actually going on here and when the delisting is going to go into effect. So you guys can see here, Credit Suisse anticipates that the New York Stock Exchange ETNs, and mind you, some of these are on the New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, and some of them are on the NASDAQ, two separate exchanges, right? So going back to what I said here, they actually anticipate the New York Stock Exchange ETNs will continue to trade on the New York Stock Exchange ARCA up to and including July 10th, 2020. And the NASDAQ ETNs will continue to trade on the NASDAQ stock market up to and including July 2nd, right? So about 2 to 3 more weeks, and these ETNs, guys, they're gone. They're going to be gone. The delisting of the ETNs will become effective on July 12th. In addition, Credit Suisse AG will suspend further issuances of the New York Stock Exchange ETNs effective June 22nd, which was yesterday. So no more issuances of the New York Stock Exchange ETNs. And the ones on the NASDAQ, further issuances will be suspended effective July 3rd, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more now. Where are these ETNs going to go? Well, following their delisting, obviously off of the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, the ETNs will remain outstanding. So the ones that are out there, the shares out there, they'll remain out there, though they will no longer trade on any national securities exchange. The ETNs may trade, if at all, on an over-the-counter basis, which is also known as OTC, right? And me personally, guys, if something gets delisted off the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, any of the major exchanges out there, and it goes OTC, I personally don't touch it. If I was in one of these ETNs and we were in this situation right now, if I was bag holding, for example, I know many of you guys out there have been messaging me, DMing me. I've seen in the community in general, people have been bag holding these again, which they're not meant for that. They're meant to be day traded, but let's be honest, guys. These do get misused. People bag hold them. And if I was bag holding, honestly, guys, I would just cut my losses. And I've been honest with you guys on this channel all the time, right? And I've said that in the past, I've had the same problems with these leveraged ETNs. I'm not going to lie to you. I've lost 50% from bag holding, 40% from bag holding, 20, 30% from bag holding. So, yeah, I just cut the losses and not look back, right? Pretty much cut the losses, move on, don't look back, and try and focus on, maybe equities, maybe options, in terms of trading options for stocks, instead of looking at these very leveraged ETNs that are very risky at the end of the day. And again, they're going to go OTC, and although it is not currently accelerating the ETNs at its option, Credit Suisse continues to have the right to do so as described in the pricing supplement for these ETNs, and may choose to actually accelerate the ETNs at its option in the future, either together on the same date or each on a separate date, including shortly after the delisting. And again, these are leveraged, they're very risky, and quite honestly, for the novice person out there, for the novice trader, the beginner trader, and even the intermediate traders, this stuff is difficult to understand. And if you don't understand it, just don't trade it. It's very simple, right? This stuff is very, very just tricky. It's very risky and it's very difficult to understand, and I'll link again this whole article down below in the description box so you guys can really dig into it yourselves. And if you want to look deeper into these ETNs, again, go to the prospectus on each and every one of these ETNs, and it goes into detail on how they work, how they function, the returns that they look to, receive on a day-to-day basis, because they're all a bit different here, because some follow the VIX, which is a volatility index, right? Some of them follow gold. We have some gold ETNs here, UGLD and DGLD, USLV and DSLV. Those are silver ETNs. We know Ugaz and Dgaz are natural gas ETNs. So again, do your own research on all of these, but ultimately, yeah, if I was in one of these ETNs, I'd cut. I would not bag hold. What's the point, right? They're getting delisted. There's not going to be any new issuances of these ETNs, and we can already see, if we go to my ThinkOrSwim platform here, if we take a look at some of these ETNs, TVIX today is falling off a cliff, down about 11-12%. Ugaz today down about 3%, and we saw, I believe a couple months ago, UWT and DWT got delisted, and now you can't even pop them up on ThinkOrSwim. This is what happens, right? If I type in UWT, doesn't show up. DWT, it doesn't show up. And these were oil-based leveraged ETNs that, again, they went under, I believe, when the whole oil collapse occurred. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that is when they did end up getting delisted. And again, DSLV is another one. Let's take a look at how these ones are doing. DSLV is down about 4%. USLV is down or up about 4% since it's a leverage, or it's a inverse, right? So overall, that's it for this video, guys. Nothing too crazy. Just breaking down the very basics of what's going on here. They're getting delisted by middle of July. End of July. These are not going to be here anymore. You're not going to be able to trade them unless they go on OTC, and you can trade them over the counter, right? So if you're a person that was heavily invested in one of these, and by invested I mean not that you have a position, but you were trading these all the time, right? This is how you were trading. There's a bunch of other ones you could play out there. There's always a way that you can pivot, so don't get discouraged. There's other stocks, there's other ETFs, there's other ETNs that you can pivot to, and try and work with those, right? So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, again, it was a very quick one. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see further stock market content like this. I upload videos every single day going over the markets, stocks I'm watching, moves I'm making in the markets. And again, I'll link this article down below in the description box, and you can also excuse me, guys, you can also get 2 free stocks down below in the description box from Webull. Those are valued up to $1,400 if you deposit $100 into the account. So yeah, if you want free money, take a look at that link down below. And that's it for the video, guys. I'll catch you all in the video later today. Have a safe one. As always, peace out.